All right, so today's video, I'm gonna go over consecutive integers. It's something introduced around Algebra 1. We see it on standardized tests all the time, and it's two different ways that you can approach this problem depending on if they're consecutive even, consecutive odd. I think my audio got cut off, but we have consecutive integers. These are regular consecutive integers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. Then we have the evens or the odds, 2, 4, 6, 8, or maybe 1, 3, 5, 7, so on and so forth. All right, so what I put on top of these is with these right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, every time you go up the ladder is basically just adding one. But when you're doing even, to go from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so on and so forth, that pattern is because you keep adding 2. Same thing if we look at odd numbers. If we look at odd numbers and we start with 1, to get to the next one, we have to keep adding 2, and that's how you skip over your even numbers and keep landing on your odds. So evens and odds have a pattern where you add 2, whereas with your regular consecutive integers, you're just adding 1. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 108. What is the largest number? All right, so the sum is 108. What is the largest number? And we're dealing with 3 consecutive integers. So this approach is the same exact approach I've been doing for years. Like, I first got introduced to this maybe around 20 something years ago. So I've never changed my approach. It always works. So that's the way I'm gonna show you. All right, so what I have here is x plus 1, and x plus 2. That represents my first, second, and third number. And then my total is 108. So I have my 3 consecutive integers. The total is equal to 108. All we have to do is kind of add this up and then solve. So literally the setup is the most important thing, I believe. And by doing your addition, you'll see that x plus x plus x is 3x, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. We subtract 3 on both sides. And what that gives me is 105. And remember, those do that, right? So I have 3x is equal to 105 now. All right, so when you divide both of these by 3, what you get is x is equal to 35. X is equal to 35. So literally, all I have to do is come over here and say x is 35. If I add 1, I get 36. If I add 2 to here, I get 37. 35, 36, 37. So what is the largest number? 37 is the largest number. All right, so this example says the sum of 3 consecutive even integers is 192. What is the second number? All right, so we're going to figure out what those even numbers are. And out of those 3, we want to know what the middle one is going to be. All right, so I have my 3 integers represented. X right here, x plus 2, and x plus 4. And remember, we have to add 2 and then add another 2 and then add another 2 because we're skipping over each odd number. Remember, anytime you're dealing with evens or odds, you're not adding 1, you're adding intervals of 2. So my first number, my second number, my third number, the total is equal to 192. All right, so we add up my x's straight down the column. 3x. 2 plus 4 is 6. The total is 192. Now I can subtract 6. Minus 6. Minus 6. That is 186. 186. Now I can divide by 3. So x is equal to, what's that, 62? So x is equal to 62. So that means this number is 62. This number is 64. And this number is 66. And if you add all of those up, you will get 192. So it does check out. So what's the value of the second number? The value of the second number is 64. So there's a couple of ways that these problems could be presented. Well, they'll present you with a problem, but sometimes they'll ask you to give you, what are the 3 numbers, or they'll ask you one of those numbers out of the 3. or out of the 4, however many numbers are in that list. My examples I've done today just dealt with 3 consecutive integers, even or odd. All right, so this is going to be my last example for today. The sum of 4 consecutive odd integers is 96. How many of the integers are prime? All right, so remember, we're talking about 4 consecutive odd integers, all right? So there are my 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. But remember, because we're talking about odd numbers, we got to do x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, all right? So that total is 1, 2, 3, 4. That total is 4x. Well, that's 10, 12, plus 12. So 4x plus 12 is equal to 96. Now next, we're going to subtract 12 on both sides. And that's going to happen. Therefore, my 4x comes right back down. And that right there is a total of, what's that, 84. Now I can divide 84 by 4. So I can divide by the coefficient right here. I divide that by that same coefficient. Now what I have here is x is equal to 21. All right, so 21 is the first number. All right, so 21, 23, 25, 27. So how many is prime? Out of this list, there's only one. Out of that list, there's only one prime number, 23. So the main thing here is to know when to do x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 versus an x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6. So remember, the x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, that happens if we're talking about consecutive even or consecutive odd. If it says consecutive even, if it says consecutive odd, then we got to do the 2, 4, 6. For the regular consecutive numbers, that's when we just say x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, so on and so forth. That's really the main difference. If you just know when to use those two, all the rest of them falls into place. You line them right up and then you solve it. Normally it's going to be a 2-step equation after that. All right, so if this is your first time checking out any of my videos, I have plenty more. You can search me right here on YouTube. There's the correct spelling. That's the picture that you look for. You can subscribe right there. I have mad videos going up each day.